So hey guys, in this Teamsport episode, it was a very quiet day, and mostly it felt as if it was understaffed as fuck. To the point that at the start of the session, or even when I actually arrived there was barely people, and I only saw about one or two people, the manager and I think the manager assistant. I don't know. It just felt as if only the managers were there, and then like everyone else, all the employees were like at home. I even noticed this when all my contacts out there were just started to just ghost me as hell, which is what the fuck. But like yeah, he wasn't really there on the track. I don't think he was there on the day because I was like came in like super early, and apparently I was the first ones on track, so it did make it so like that the carts were of course very slippery and very cold. And on top of this, nothing was really set up, like everything was either turned off or not even set up properly. So basically what they had to do is not only set up everything, but also make sure everything just works and everything is fine, because if you book it at 3:40, you guarantee a spot to be solo, but you have to arrive there extremely early, and of course nobody's gonna be there at 3:40 on a Friday afternoon because school exists. So yeah, pretty much it was a very quiet day. I first two people, which was a husband and wife, and the husband really got pissed off for understandable reason because I proceeded to just absolutely fuck over their teammates. Like, because what happened is uh, that basically I passed the husband, and then basically like, I bumped a little bit into him, and then the wife by his side, she just stood out the back, just do her morning driving of pretty much driving into oncoming traffic. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. She literally just like driven like her whole car towards me. Like, what the fuck? And then you can like blame it at me. Like, understandable that I spun out your wife and hit her extremely hard. But still though, you do not act like this when you're driving on the middle of the fucking motorway when someone's overtaking. You don't go like, oh shit, this person pulling up to me, pulling in front of me. Let me just make sure I just kill him in the process. Like, what the fuck? Like, I know it was my fault, but still though, it's absolutely fucking insane. And the aftermath was even more insane when the motherfucker literally got up to me, got like, he shouldn't be doing this shit. He shouldn't be doing this shit. He was actually mad at the time of the time, but later on he was actually calm about it. He knew shit was gonna happen, of course it happened, and yeah, I did like about 47, so it was really good despite the fact having shitty traffic. But like, and then like that was happening for the second session, it was fine, but I had to sacrifice a few laps just so that I don't hit them again, because no doubt well if I hit at least one of them, they're gonna come at me, shout at me again, and I was not gonna deal with the shouting part two all over again. So I decided to go fuck it and just not hit them whatsoever, which of course sacrificed some of my lap time on that session. So the first session was shit, and then the second session was even more shit because I had to focus on it. But then there was the third session, which was a continuation of the second session, but without them. Pretty much with this session, it was a time trial, which I could put all my practice into test, and I managed to get myself a nice spot on that with the daily chart, which is I always fucking get because by the time I get on the track, right, I'll produce the fastest. I normally average around 47.6, which of course gets me easy first because nobody gets there at like 3:55 just to do like absolute go karting, unless if they're like member for like 7 o'clock. Which why the fuck you be there this early? But like, let's just ignore that. I just literally look at the fact right that I managed to do it on my time trial event where I managed to get myself a 46.050. This is literally so close to the 45. It's absolutely insane. This is my second fastest on this track, and I believe I could improve based on weather conditions. I believe as if the weather was warmer, and if it was warmer inside the track itself, it would have been a lot more better, since of course I would have gained that traction that I needed a lot more early on, because of course higher temps on track means by higher traction, as you can see based on the Texas Grand Prix, where it could get up to like 500 fucking degrees Celsius, and yet they'll still have like the best of the best grip until the tires decide to kill themselves in that case. But still though, it was really good, especially on my time trial, and I 100% locked in throughout the whole race. Couple laps in, first couple laps it was shit, but then I absolutely just locked in for the rest of them, which managed to, in fact, right, get, because like with the third session, right, I had like an extremely slippery cart, right, and this cart right wasn't really good whatsoever. It felt as if like it was 100% slippery. It was like a drifting cart, so You maybe go like, did I take it as a drift circuit? Nope, I took it as a time trial, and that somehow managed to in fact fix the kart itself. So if you want to in fact like have a slippery kart turn into an actual nice go kart to actually drive on, just do that. Just fucking do that. Just absolutely floor it and just fix the car and just let the car fix itself, because eventually by like a couple laps in the car is gonna fix itself, and I managed to achieve my second best on a drifting car, which is absolutely insane. Like I really noticed it because of lightness in the steering, but it managed to fix itself. So yeah, there's that. But overall, I felt as if it was an extremely quiet session. With only a few people, a few staff members on track, I don't think there was really the usual that I normally have. Because the usual just normally don't really come to Fridays as often. Because honestly, especially during the half term, it's less and less people will normally go. Because honestly, they'll be busy with like work, with uh, basically with education, for all that shit, which basically prevents them from pretty much attending the track. But during the holidays, it increases by a shit ton. I mean, something like that. During the holidays, it's not as optimal, but during the half terms, it's a lot more optimal, since you're more likely to get a track with low amounts of people or no people whatsoever, which is extremely good for beginners, as that it's just you and the track, or you and just a few people, and then you could just go at it, just absolutely drive it on. And if your instructor is there, it'll be a lot more better, since you gain instant feedback on there, which would be a lot more amazing, especially for people like me who at the beginning really needed that instructor's instruction. I feel as if like, I wouldn't be here getting this 45 and 46 without my instructor. At first, I wouldn't get that without the staff at Teamsport, because the staff at Teamsport basically helped me to get where I am, push me one of, if not the fastest on the track, and still improving even without them. So pretty much what I recommend, right, is when you start go-karting, make sure to in fact have staff members who are A, competent as hell, and B, know what the fuck they're talking about, and C, and listen to their advice and use their advice to their advantage, because they're not only looking at your racing line, but they're also looking at the speed, the confidence, basically how you are in the go-kart on the track, and see how fast you can go, and see what improvements you have. Because at the beginning, you're of course gonna suck at it, but eventually, as you continue to listen to their advice, it just gets locked in, and then soon, eventually, by the first month in, you're already there. You're already managed to competently get into the track and race well, and then by the second month, you hopefully, in like dedication, you hopefully we actually get a lot more faster, and soon literally get the racing line nailed on with trying to get for more and more attempts. Then hopefully by the third month, you can actually in fact right put all of that to the test, and then get yourself a nice record. Get yourself a nice record, or breaking the record at the track will be a lot good, as that it shows your ultimate progression since when you started. On top of this, you can actually in fact have an organized plan. For example, you can use the winter times like now from November to December to in fact train up, just so that when you reach January and February, you can use the whole 2026 period to enter in competitive go-karting. Because honestly, that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to train up just so that when I reach the big 26, I can focus now on competitive go-karting. Because honestly, what's more important than being competitive is training. Without training, yeah, you're going to be competitive, and therefore, but you definitely need the training. So if you're going to start now, start now. Go to your car, go to your track every single week, try to put on your pedal to the metal, try to be as fast as you can be, try and learn as much as you can within a short time span, and see from January that you can actually in fact into competitive go-karting. So as you do, make sure to in fact buy yourself a helmet with a separate GoPro mount, or one with a GoPro mount, and then and also some gloves. These are all the essentials that even a beginner go-karter needs, because having your own helmet plus a go-kart, no go-kart, that's too fucking expensive. You have your own helmet plus some gloves and shoes. You also need shoes, by the way, because special go-karting shoes will be a lot more better than your regular boots or regular trainers, because trainers only have the increases sold by a little bit for comfort, but with go-karting, you do not need that. In fact, like, go-karts will much more prefer to have soles that are little as possible, just like thin piece of rubber on the bottom will be enough, and that's what most go-kart shoes have, a thin piece of rubber, and that's what you just mostly need, to be honest, thin piece of rubber, instead of having all these trainers with a thick sole, because with this one, it will interfere with your pedal control. You wouldn't really control the pedal as much compared to having a nice go-kart shoes. And for gloves, right, the gloves that Teamsport gives you are of course gonna be absolute dog shit, because you're not only gonna have less grip, but also you're gonna have less comfortability, which go-kart gloves will actually have an improvement on, because go-kart gloves are usually way more grippier, and therefore you have a lot more handling over the go-kart itself. And for a helmet, this is mostly just to like have a GoPro mount attached to it, and the top of this is so that you can actually like, customize it to your part's potential. Because of course you can't really buy your Team Sport helmet, so having your own helmet will not only help you with promotion, as that if anyone's interested in your career wise or your motorsport career, you can in fact sponsor it to them and you sponsor it to them that way. And on top of this, make sure that your profile has of course a QR code with your YouTube channel's name on it, as once it shows on the big screen, it will actually in fact be used as kind of like a sponsorship, where basically other people could scan the QR code and subscribe to your channel that way. So there's in fact multiple ways you can actually in fact use Teamsport in order to sponsor without Teamsport's knowledge, to be honest. And the staff don't really give a fuck, honestly to God. They don't really give a fuck because they ain't that strict compared to other tracks, which I haven't really gone to because what do you expect? My home track is Team Sport Birmingham. So that's in fact going to be the number one track we're going to head over to. Not Cannon Raceway or Midlands Karting, because that shit is too far away. It's of course going to be Team Sport Birmingham, which is absolute peak. And I suppose there's nothing I have to in fact say about it. So now you know what I did in my first, second, and third session. And on top of this, you know what essentials that you need, what you need to learn. And on top of this, everything that you need to be prepared for just before the big 2026. Because 2026, you get about 365 days. From that 365 days, you can in fact spend every single time of that day just training, go-karting, competitive go-karting. You can spend all that time on it and you get yourself a nice impressive racing CV. From there you can actually in fact get yourself a nice sponsorship from a sponsorship agency who would in fact take you on depending on your racing CV. If your racing CV seems low or have low experience, then it would not be recommended to them, or they would not take you on whatsoever, as they know for further that they wouldn't really gain that with sponsors compared to someone who has a lot more experience on track. Because so far they just see it as absolutely pathetic, to be honest. But the only way to fix this, entering go-karting championships. Pretty much entering one won't be enough. Entering multiple and winning multiple would be a lot more better. And on top of this, you want to just basically prove yourself, really. Because honestly, the first thing that you need to do is personally invest in yourself, and then from there you can get sponsors to in fact invest in your go-karting career to simply advance even more, which is something that I'm actually going to do. Then from there you can use the same sponsorship agencies to in fact attract more and more sponsors, and then soon in Formula 4 you may actually have multi-million or multi-billion dollar contracts which you can even spend on your go-kart or Formula 4 career. You want to spend all of this sponsorship money on the go-kart itself, not just simply on rich luxuries of sorts, because in all fact, man, you ain't taking this seriously because of the sport or the dedication, mostly because you want to in fact, man, scam these companies, which if they find out, will cancel your contract immediately. So spend all this money on yourself, your basic needs, and on top of this, your progression up for go-karting to Formula 4, then to F2, and then from there, right, you can in fact win some championships, get into F1. But if you don't get into F1, don't worry, look into other motorsports opportunities, because since you reach the F2, right, you have more than enough experience or high enough racing CV experience in order to simply join other motorsports teams in different types of motorsports racing leagues. So just do that, right, and eventually you'll be okay and you'll be fine. So that's mostly what I'm gonna do, right, and that's something that the plan of most go-karts just gonna follow. Just keep progressing, keep winning, and then keep getting more sponsors just to increase the investment, and then eventually you'll make it. So yeah, stay safe.
Huh? Fuck, my leg gave out. Huh? Alright, fine. It's a little bit too early on that, because I took me, I will 170. on brake. That's the tightness I need. Fuck that shit up.